All right, so redefine your friendship. So key thought, it's impossible to live the right life when you have the wrong friends. So that's the key thought. Impossible to live the right life when you have the wrong friends. Proverbs 12:26 says, the righteous should choose his friends carefully, for the way of the wicked leads them astray. So the righteous, the godly, people of faith should choose friends carefully. Now that's a proverb, so that's a wisdom for us. You meet people by chance, but you make good friends by choice. And so that's really what we want to just press home, is the idea is that friendships need to be chosen with great wisdom. You need to make sure that those closest to you love the Lord, that can encourage you and strengthen you and help you. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future, right? You are one friend away from changing your life's destiny. You know, I talked about that. The law of attraction says this, that which is like unto itself is drawn. In other words, you attract who you are, not what you want. You have often heard it said that misery loves company. This explains why negative, critical people can attract an audience. Your character will attract people of similar character. And so really, that's the key, right? You tend to attract who you are. You know, I want strong, godly friends. I want spiritually minded people in my life. I want people that put God first. I want people that have a passion for Jesus Christ. I want those type of friends. Well, really, you have to be that type of person. Honestly, you have to be that type of people. You have to be growing into that. You have to be desiring that. Those values have to be yours. And if those are not your values, you'll tend to attract the type of person you are. And so that might be a point of conviction for people, you know, especially marginal Christians that tend to attract maybe low-level people. And they've never thought about it that way. You know, why do I always have, you know, troubled people in my life? Why do I always attract the person that has all kinds of problems, that are always down in the dumps? And, you know, why is that person always attracted to me? Well, this point basically places the responsibility on them. In other words, they need to grow, they need to change. Maybe you have somebody that's divorced in your Connect group. Maybe they've been divorced a couple times, and it seems like they're always attracted to the wrong type of person. And, you know, they'd like to break that chain in their life, but they've never considered the fact that maybe they attract that type of person because that's the type of person they are. Maybe they also are low level. So it can be very convicting, and we don't want to make it a heavy on them, but sometimes the truth sets you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And it takes courage sometimes to receive the word and view yourself honestly and do self-assessment. And so I really do feel like these first 2 points will really zero in on what we're trying to talk about here, all right? The sum of your character, because we're talking about how your character will attract people of similar character. The sum of your character. And you know, what defines your character? Well, 4 areas. And you know, this can be a whole message in itself, but it's just something that you can touch on. The sum of your character. What defines you? What makes you the type of person you are? It'd be your core values. Now, as Christians, those are biblical values. You know, you value the Lordship of Christ. You value church. You value the Word of God. You value submission to His will. You value putting God first. These are values in your life, right? Your core values. But not every Christian has core values that are rooted in the Bible. Some person's core value might be success, or the pursuit of money, or recreational pursuits, or their core value is relationships. Finding that man is the most important thing in their life. So your core value, your self-identity. And as a Christian, our identity is in Jesus Christ. That's our identity. God loves me. I belong to Him. I'm called by His name. I'm an overcomer in Him. His love is everlasting towards me. He is pleased with me. I am clothed with the righteousness of Christ. I've been chosen and called of the Lord. I mean, that's my identity, and that defines who I am. And if that really is in me, then I will attract people that have that type of identity. If people are identified with the world, and that's where they find their core identity is in the world and how the world might view them, well, they're not going to be attracted to me. You know, like attracts like, or birds of a feather flock together. The sum of your character is also found in your emotional stability. The idea there is that you should have self-control. You don't have great highs and great lows. You're stable emotionally. You're overcoming. You're rejoicing. You're looking to God. You're not giving over to anger and serious darkness. You're not impatient but patient. You have emotional stability. Emotional stability really is the outworking of the fruit of the Spirit in your life. Galatians 5:22 and 23. Somebody that has huge emotional swings, that defines the type of person they are. And people that are emotionally unstable, you would say that they have low character or maybe bad character. And then the final one is your self-discipline. That's your ability to say no to sin. Self-discipline, your ability to say no to sin, to say no to passions, to say no to desires. Your self-discipline, you can fast because you can say no to appetites of hunger. You can live in victory because you can overcome habits that are destructive. You have self-discipline. You're able to rise up at 6 a.m. if you need to get up at 6 a.m. to make it to work. All right, you have self-discipline. You're able to put in, if you're self-employed, a hard day's worth of work. You just operate under self-discipline. And so if you take those 4 areas, and how you do in those 4 areas, well, I do have self-discipline, I do have emotional stability, my identity is Jesus Christ, my core values really are in the Bible, the sum of your character will be high. You'll have high-level character. And if that's the case, you will attract high-level people towards you. Does that make sense? All right. So that leads us to, when it comes to friendships, tensions. And the tensions basically is this, is the Bible teaches us to engage the world. Jesus was a friend of sinners, go into all the world and preach the gospel. We want to start the unstoppable. We want to connect with people. You should have relationships with all kinds of people in your life. And so the Bible tells you to move out into the world and connect with them, be salt, be light. But the Bible also says to be cautious in friendships, to avoid certain people. And so that's the tension, isn't it? And so we're going to try to help people navigate through that, through those tensions. Jesus was a friend of sinners, but you are supposed to avoid foolish people. Well, sinners are foolish people. And so you follow the example of Jesus and be a friend of sinners, or you're supposed to avoid foolish people, because Proverbs 13 verse 20 says, he who walks with wise men will be wise, but the companion of fools will be destroyed. And so, you know, if you have children and you don't like the friends they're hanging with because they're sinners, they're wicked, they're foolish, they're not a good influence on them, and you're trying to say, you know, I think you should make new friends or meet new people. Excuse me, I don't think you should be hanging around that person because they seem to be a bad influence. And they come back and say, well, Jesus was a friend of sinners. You know, what's the wise counsel back? Well, this lesson will help us with that wise counsel back. You are to be salt and light in the world, but you're not to keep company with an angry man. Proverbs 22 says, make no friendship with an angry man, and a furious man do not go, lest you learn his ways and set a snare for your soul. So, you know, make no friendship with an angry man, but certainly you're to friend angry people so you might win them to Christ. So there's certain levels of friendships I think we have to navigate through and work through these tensions. And the problem with these tensions is I don't think that there are times black and white answers, you know, for every situation. But we'll try to give you some principles here that are going to help you, all right? And then the Bible says you're not supposed to be deceived about evil people. In 1 Corinthians 15:33 it says, do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits. And so this is the truth. Evil company corrupts good habits. Evil company corrupts good habits. But the Bible says, do not be deceived about that. And so the deception is this. You are deceived if you think you can have friendships with evil people and not be corrupted by them. Now, that might be for your children. That might be for somebody in your Connect group that is an adult and he or she thinks they are spiritually strong and they are dating an unbeliever. All right? And they have convinced themselves that they will influence this person for good. And another deception is this, it's on the same line. You're deceived if you think you can handle it because you are different than others who can't handle it. That somehow you have enough spiritual strength that you can violate a principle in God's Word, 1 Corinthians 15:33, evil company corrupts good habits. That somehow that one doesn't apply to you because you have such spiritual strength. You see, you can marry that person even though they don't know Christ because you will win them to the Lord. You'll win them to the Lord. Well, you know, what do we say about that? Yes, go ahead.
Pastor, what would you say when you're defining evil people? Obviously, we're not just saying sinners. In that verse, what would you say are evil people?
Well, in that you know, I would say evil there would represent sinners. But, you know, you can apply this lesson to low-level people as well. People that claim Christ but walk at a very low level and try to, they disrespect your commitments to Christ. They try to tempt you to sin. They try to get you sidetracked from your spiritual commitments. I'm not sure I would say a believer is an evil person, but they certainly are not wise, right?
The Lord says that if you admonish a man twice and he still denies, then stay away from him. So you go to
At the first and second admonition, reject? Okay.
Right on.
All right, very good.
Kind of a defining. There's a line right there. It's drawn.
Okay. Well, let's move forward. I think as we move forward, I think it'll answer some of your questions. Resolving the tensions. All right, that's a good point to have, right? All right, if you are a committed Christian, which all of you are, and you want everybody in your Connect group to be a committed Christian. Committed. Now, when I say committed Christian, I mean God is first. They are pursuing Christ. They are on the path of spiritual growth. They are walking in the right direction. They are a follower of Jesus Christ. They take their spirituality seriously. Now, there might be people in your Connect group, they're not there. They're very casual. They're lukewarm. And so the Connect group can be a great place where they're challenged to step it up, right? To get committed. But if you are a committed Christian, your inner circle of friends must be committed Christians. When I say your inner circle of friends, that's your 3 to 4 closest friends. Let's put it that way. So why did I say 3 to 4? Well, Jesus had the 70, the 12, and then his inner circle was how many? 3. Peter, James, and John. Inner circle, 3. And I think your core or your inner circle, those that you would consider your closest friends, need to be committed Christians just like you are. Now, the only caveat that I'd put there is if you're in a marriage relationship and maybe you're unequally yoked in this marriage relationship, obviously that your spouse is not a committed Christian, or maybe you're not unequally yoked in the sense of saved, unsaved, but maybe you're highly committed and your spouse is marginally committed. All right, and so what you need to do in a marriage relationship is you got that husband or you got that wife and maybe they're not fully there yet. You need to make sure that you have 3 or 4 friends outside of that marriage relationship that are highly committed. It's important, all right? Highly committed. Because, listen to this, you make sure that those closest to you share your spiritual convictions and biblical values. When you look for friends, pursue character, not just interests. When you surround yourself with committed Christians, your roots go deep and your reach grows broader. So this is the idea here, is that if you have a core or an inner circle of committed friends that love God like you do, and you stimulate each other and encourage each other in your faith, and you pray for each other, and you're just right there with each other, then you can have friends that are lower level or friends that are sinners. And your roots are going deep because of you have surrounded yourself with committed Christians that are right there, and those are your closest friends. They just pour into you, you pour into them, and you just hold each other accountable like that. And then that strengthens you and enables you to have a broad outreach to those that might not be nearly as committed, might not even be saved, and you can have relationships with them. And they will not defile you. They will not influence you. They will not steer you away because you are solid. Does that make sense? You're just solid. You have deep, deep roots. When your inner circle is wrong, compromising, shallow, when those closest to you, your closest friends, if they are half-hearted, half-committed, or maybe they're not even saved, your roots will be shallow and your reach will be small. So I have real problems with committed Christians that do not have a core group, an inner core group of friends that are highly committed. I have real problems with that because I find that, that they are surrounded by, those closest to them are surrounded by people that are not living at a high level, and that it will be a leavening influence in their life. That maintaining their passion will be very difficult. Maintaining their spiritual commitments will be very difficult. Eventually, they'll be worn down because their friendships are not at the level that they need to be to sustain them long term. That's what makes church so wonderful. That's what makes Connect Group so wonderful, is because you can meet people that love Jesus with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength. And in your Connect Group, you know, you might have shallow Christians there, but you know what? You're strong in the Lord, and you got people around you that are strong in the Lord, and so you go in all this strength, and your roots are deep, and you can reach broadly to them, and you can encourage them, and help them, and pray for them, and counsel them, and enjoy fellowship with them. But you know what? They're not going to lead you astray because you have such strength in God because of your own relationship with God, and those closest to you are strong in the Lord as well. Does that make sense? And so I don't have, you know, if you have teenagers and they have unsaved friends, I would not worry about it if they got 3 or 4 of their closest friends are just on fire Christians. But I would worry about it if I have a teenager and their closest friends are unbelievers or just low level. Then I would, so that is a real warning sign. What about a dating relationship? Maybe you have people in your Connect Group and they're adults and they're dating. And they're dating somebody low level. Well, that's a real warning sign. Because who they're dating with purpose, right? They're opening up their heart and a love relationship. And, you know, if you're an adult, then that relationship is taking you someplace to the altar. And that person is low level. And you're in a dating relationship. You're opening up your heart with love towards this person. I would have real problems with that because you do not want to choose to marry a low-level person. I know sometimes it happens. You're married, you get saved, your spouse doesn't. I mean, that's a real challenge, and God's grace is there. Or you marry Christian, and you're both are pursuing God, then something happens after you're married, and they slack off. I mean, that's a problem. But if you're a highly committed Christian, and you have the power of choice, you don't want to choose a low-level person to date and eventually marry. I mean, that is like foolishness. I don't know what else to say. That's just foolishness. Foolishness. It's because they'll ask you questions like this, all right? And salvation dating to me is so wrong. So wrong. And literally playing with fire. Playing with fire. All right, let's go on here. 3 statements of principle, all right? I will never let my friends distract me from God's plan. That should be a principle that you embrace and everybody in your Connect group embraces, right? I will never let my friends distract me from God's plans. Matthew 16:21-23, Jesus is the great example. It says, from that time, Jesus began to show to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed and be raised the third day. Then Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, far be it from you, Lord, this shall not happen to you. So Jesus is basically telling him what God's plan is for his life. Now I know it's the cross and it's very difficult, but this was the will of the Father for Jesus. And now Peter is trying to tell him, no, don't do that. That's too hard. That's not going to happen to you. Choose a different pathway. And Peter was rebuked by Jesus. Get behind me, Satan. You're an offense to me, for you're not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men. So the spirit that tries to distract you from doing God's will is a demonic spirit. And so I just want you to encourage, everybody in your Connect group and even you to just have this principle. I will never let my friends distract me from God's plan. Your inner circle should be your biggest cheerleaders. Do God's will, do God's will, do God's will, do God's will. Your casual friends, they might be saying, yeah, don't do that. Save yourself. That's too hard. What, you're crazy? I'd never do that. I can't believe you're giving that much. Don't go on that mission trip. And never let your friends distract you from God's plan. The second one is, I will never let my friends continue to tempt me to sin. And the passage of Scripture there in Genesis is Joseph and Potiphar's wife. And she just kept tempting him and tempting him. Now, he was in a very difficult place. He's a slave. And, he's bound there to Potiphar's house. And so it's a little bit different. But finally, when she grabbed him to really tempt him, the Bible says that he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside. And so he kept his integrity. He fled sin. He severed that relationship. And sometimes, and I'm not talking about marriage relationship, when we're talking about severing relationships, I don't want you to encourage anybody that is married. Oh, your spouse tempts you to sin. Well, divorce them. I'm not, don't give that counsel, all right? But if it's outside of a marriage relationship and you have somebody in your life and they are constantly tempting you to sin and they constantly disrespect your spiritual commitments, your biblical values, sometimes you simply have to end the relationship. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to be black and white. Well, when do you know it's too much? And when should you end it? And how often should they? I don't have set answers for that. But I do think there comes a time if somebody is relentlessly trying to get you to compromise your faith and to violate your biblical principles, and you really feel like they're going after you trying to do this, even though you have core friends that are strong in the Lord, that sometimes you say, you know what? This is not working out. We're done here. That make sense? And the third statement of principle, I will never stop loving people with the unconditional love of Jesus Christ. Even those that are tempting you to sin, even those that are low level, even those that we consider wicked, even those that might be angry or whatever, we will never stop loving people with the unconditional love of Jesus Christ. So I just want you to encourage them to gather those closest to them to make sure it's an inner circle of highly committed Christians, so you can strengthen one another and make your roots go deep so that you can in turn be broad in your reach. Because we don't want to be so holy that we can't have friends with sinners, or that we can't befriend somebody that needs Christ or somebody that's weak in their faith, oh, you know, no, I only hang with those that just love Jesus, and you know, that's just too defiling for me. No, you can have a broad reach. And you can do so with great confidence if you got a core group of people that are right there encouraging you and you're encouraging them to keep your faith strong. You can live for Jesus. And then those tensions of, you know, going into all the world and being a friend of sinners, you can do that. At the same time, you can be cautious in your friendships, and you can withdraw from having a real intimate, close relationship. You know, make no friendship with an angry man. In other words, don't bring somebody like that in your inner circle. They can be on the outer circle. That makes sense? So you're fulfilling Scripture, and at the same time keeping your relationship open to lead them to Jesus Christ, and you know, not become pharisaical where you hate them or despise them, but you always will love them with an unconditional love. All right, so at the conclusion, I want you to help them perhaps redefine their inner circle. Maybe as you close in prayer, you can say, well, let's just think about our inner circle right now. Think about, you know, your 3 or 4 friends that are closest to you. And do they really love Jesus? And you'll find some Christians do not have real close friends with strong Christians. Their close friends might be members of their family or childhood friends or work buddies that are just maybe unbelievers or very weak in the faith. And maybe you can help them through your Connect group to start connecting with some higher level. And then ask them this question: are your core friends strong enough for you to reach out and friend those who don't know Christ? Are your core friends strong enough for you to be able to reach out without fear and friend those, friend is a verb there, and friend those who do not know Christ? I think it's a great lesson. Very helpful. Very helpful. It's helpful for parents. It's helpful for people that are married. It's helpful for people that are dating. It's just helpful for all of us because we all deal with relationships, don't we? All right, so that concludes this lesson.